Did you know that seniors over the age of 65 are now embracing exciting new ways of living that go far beyond the old notion of traditional nursing homes? If you're in your 60s, 70s, or even well into your 80s, this may come as a surprise, but the world is changing rapidly. The way we age, how we live, and how we care for ourselves and each other is undergoing a remarkable transformation. For decades, many assumed that the only options after 75 were a hospital bed, a lonely apartment, or a nursing home. But that assumption is no longer true. In fact, some of the most brilliant innovations in senior living aren't taking place in sterile medical buildings. They're unfolding in living rooms, community gardens, and even on cruise ships. Yes, really. This message is for older adults who still feel curious, who still crave freedom, and who believe the last chapter of life shouldn't be dictated by fear or outdated systems. In this video, we'll explore 7 emerging trends that are turning traditional ideas of elder care upside down. These aren't abstract theories, they're real, growing movements backed by data, and even more importantly, by stories from seniors just like you. Whether you're already considering your living arrangements or simply want to stay informed, what you'll discover today might surprise you, uplift you, and perhaps even give you a brand new vision for your future. And the best part, it's not too late to get on board. So let's take a closer look at what modern aging really looks like and why the term nursing home may soon fade into history. Trend 1. The rise of intentional senior communities. Across North America, a quiet yet powerful shift is taking place. Many older adults in their 60s, 70s, and beyond are moving into neighborhoods that weren't built by corporations or senior housing chains, but by seniors themselves. These are known as intentional senior communities, and they're reshaping what aging looks like. Imagine a small group of retired friends pooling their resources to purchase land. Instead of each person living alone in separate homes or care facilities, they design a compact neighborhood featuring shared gardens, communal areas, and private living spaces. Some even construct tiny homes or shared ranch-style houses. It's not about isolation, it's about dignity, freedom, and staying socially connected without giving up independence. What makes these communities so compelling is that they're built around shared values. For some, that might mean a focus on sustainability. For others, wellness, or simply a commitment to aging together with people who truly understand one another. These are not places where you're treated like a patient. These are places where you're treated as a full human being. This approach addresses one of the deepest psychological challenges of aging loneliness. As Carl Jung once observed, the hardest part of growing old isn't physical decline, it's the sense that you're no longer needed, that you've been quietly put aside. In these communities, older adults are vital. They cook together, look out for each other, share tools, stories, books, and time. Take Joyce, for example. She's 82 and lives in one of these communities in North Carolina. She told a local journalist, "We decided we didn't want to grow old in silence. We wanted to laugh together. We wanted to be seen." And that's precisely what these communities offer, not just care, but connection. This isn't a utopian dream, it's real, and it's gaining momentum. Zoning laws are adapting to make room for this model. Home builders are noticing, and older Canadians and Americans alike are realizing they no longer have to choose between independence and support. They can have both. The real beauty of these communities isn't in the layout of the homes, but in the mindset. It's in the belief that you can age with others and still retain your sense of identity. That you can shape your future with your own hands, even if those hands are a little slower than they once were. And after a lifetime of working hard, doesn't it make sense to spend your later years not just surviving, but truly belonging? Trend 2: tech-powered aging in place. If there's one factor that has transformed aging more than anything else in the last decade, it's technology. And we're not just talking about video calls with the grandkids. We're talking about a quiet revolution, one that's enabling people in their 70s and 80s to live alone for longer, more safely, and with a better quality of life, all without sacrificing dignity. Let's start with fall detection. It used to mean wearing a bulky, unattractive device around your neck. Today, there are smart sensors discreetly placed under rugs, in door frames, or even inside light bulbs. These don't record video or sound, they simply monitor your routine. If you fall or if something unusual happens, like not leaving your bedroom by noon, the system sends a gentle alert to a family member. It's not surveillance, it's silent safety. And it goes far beyond that. Smart home systems are becoming caregivers in their own right. A voice assistant can remind you to take your medication. A smart oven can shut off automatically if left on too long. Lights can turn on at night to prevent falls. Front doors can be locked remotely if forgotten. I know a man named Larry, age 79, who is fiercely independent. He lives alone and has no plans to move into a facility, but his son quietly installed a few unobtrusive smart devices. Now, if Larry doesn't make his usual pot of coffee by 9 a.m., something he's done for decades, his daughter receives a notification and simply checks in. Larry doesn't feel monitored, he feels cared for without being hovered over. This subtle shift is crucial. As Carl Jung emphasized, maintaining autonomy even in decline is essential to our sense of self. And that's exactly what this kind of technology enables. It supports who you are, on your terms. Larry has no interest in moving into a facility, but his son discreetly installed a few smart devices in his home. Now, if Larry doesn't make coffee by 9 a.m., something he's done every day for over 50 years, his daughter receives a gentle notification. She usually sends a quick text just to check in. Larry doesn't feel watched. He feels cared for without being hovered over. That psychological shift matters. Carl Jung once spoke about the human need to maintain autonomy even in decline. This type of technology doesn't infantilize seniors. It supports their ability to remain themselves, on their own terms. And we can't forget about telemedicine. In the past, seeing a doctor required arranging a ride, sitting through a long wait, and losing half a day. Now, you can consult a specialist from your own living room. You can send in daily blood pressure readings or glucose levels without leaving the house. It's saving both lives and sanity. Then there's community tech. Seniors are increasingly using apps not just to watch videos or view photos, but to connect with others nearby, people who want to go for a walk, share a meal, or play cards. In some neighborhoods, a single app links a dozen seniors who now meet weekly for trivia night, all because someone simply clicked join. What's remarkable is that none of this is flashy. It's not about proving that older adults are tech-savvy. It's about quiet confidence, about knowing your home works with you, not against you. It's about staying connected, even when the world feels fast and far away. It's about offering your children peace of mind while still giving yourself space to breathe. And here's what really matters. These tools aren't just for the wealthy. Many are affordable, and some are even covered by community programs or Medicare equivalents. Local governments are starting to understand that helping seniors stay in their homes isn't just more compassionate, it's more cost-effective. Aging in place used to mean sitting in the same chair every day, watching the same television, waiting for someone to knock at the door. Not anymore. Now, it means having tools that support your independence, routines that keep you grounded, and subtle safety nets that catch you before you fall. So, if you're someone who values your home, your freedom, and your sense of self, this trend is worth paying close attention to. Because aging doesn't have to mean surrendering your space. It can mean upgrading it, so it grows with you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment 2 below to let us know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the bell so you won't miss any future videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Trend 3: Intergenerational Housing Models. One of the most heartwarming and surprisingly practical shifts we're seeing today is the rise of intergenerational living, not out of necessity, but by choice. More and more families are realizing that bringing 3 generations together under one roof, or at least on the same property, does more than just save money. It restores a sense of belonging that many older adults quietly lose over time. But let's be clear, today's intergenerational homes aren't chaotic spaces filled with noisy children and no privacy. These new models are thoughtfully designed, respectful, and often quite beautiful. Picture a small private cottage or a converted garage with its own entrance and kitchen. You're close to family but not underfoot. You're part of the family circle yet still entirely independent. I know a family, the Crawfords in Ohio. Ellen, now 72, was widowed a few years ago. Her daughter and son-in-law invited her to move into the finished basement of their home. But it wasn't just any basement. They added a stair lift, installed new windows, soundproofed the ceiling, and created a cozy, welcoming space that was entirely hers. Ellen joins the family for dinner when she feels like it, but she also enjoys peaceful evenings with her books behind a closed door. And what's remarkable is how everyone benefits. Her daughter no longer worries about whether Ellen has taken her medication. The grandchildren get to know their grandmother as a real person, not just a holiday visitor. And Ellen, she says she feels younger just being around people who laugh loudly and live fully. This trend isn't just about convenience. It taps into something Carl Jung often explored: the need to find new roles and a sense of purpose as we age. In intergenerational homes, older adults aren't treated like passive guests. They're mentors, storytellers, and sometimes even co-parents. Their presence grounds the family. Their wisdom fills the house. Of course, this kind of setup isn't for everyone. Some seniors value their solitude, and that's completely valid. But for many, the idea of aging alone, of growing old in silence, is far more unsettling than the idea of sharing space. Communities are beginning to reflect this shift as well. In Oregon, there's a housing development specifically designed for intergenerational living. It includes duplexes and triplexes where older and younger families live side by design. There's a shared garden, a communal room, and monthly potlucks. The elders don't feel pushed aside. They feel woven into the very fabric of the neighborhood. Urban planners are taking note. Some cities are even adjusting zoning laws to allow for granny flats or accessory dwelling units on existing properties. That means families don't have to uproot or spend a fortune to take care of aging parents. They can simply build smarter together. And beyond logistics, this model offers emotional healing. I've seen parents and adult children who hadn't truly connected in years rediscover each other, not through grand conversations, but through daily life. Morning coffee, evening walks, shared meals. Living together with enough space and clear boundaries can mend old wounds, create new memories, and strengthen family bonds. For many, it's not just a housing trend, it's a lifeline. At those monthly potlucks, the elders don't feel pushed aside, they feel woven into the fabric of daily life. Even urban planning is beginning to reflect this shift. Some cities are updating zoning laws to allow for accessory dwelling units, often called granny flats, on existing properties. That means families no longer have to break the bank or uproot their lives to care for an aging parent. They can simply build smart, flexible spaces together. But let's not overlook the emotional healing that can come from this kind of arrangement. I've seen it firsthand. Parents and adult children who hadn't really spoken in years gradually rediscover one another, not through dramatic conversations, but through the rhythms of everyday life. Morning coffee, evening walks, shared meals. Living together with clear boundaries and enough space can mend old wounds, foster new memories, and strengthen the very fabric of family. It's a quiet antidote to the loneliness that creeps in when we begin to feel like we're no longer needed. So, if you've ever found yourself torn between maintaining your independence and staying close to the people you love, know this: there is a middle path. Intergenerational housing isn't a step backward, it's a thoughtful step forward. It's a way to age with dignity, meaning, and connection. And in today's world, that might be the greatest gift of all. Trend 4: affordable senior co-housing communities. There's a quiet revolution unfolding in how older adults are choosing to live, and it's not happening in hospitals or gated retirement villages. It's happening in co-housing communities. And no, we're not talking about being stuck with a roommate. These are communities where each person owns or rents their own private unit, but chooses to share certain spaces, like a garden, kitchen, or community lounge with people they genuinely enjoy being around. What makes this model so powerful is that it's rooted in shared values, not shared obligations. These aren't just random neighbors thrown together by chance. They're individuals who have intentionally chosen to age alongside others who are kind, respectful, and value both community and personal space. Take, for example, a small community outside Minneapolis, where 12 seniors ranging in age from their late 60s to mid-80s pooled their savings to purchase a plot of land. They built a cluster of cozy cottages arranged around a central courtyard and agreed on a few simple rules: shared meals twice a week, weekly check-ins, and mutual support for errands and appointments. There's no staff, no management company breathing down their necks, just a circle of peers who look out for one another, not in a clingy or overbearing way, but in a way that quietly says, "You matter. You're not invisible." One resident, Harold, age 78, said he hadn't felt this kind of connection since his university days. "We sit around the fire pit on Friday nights," he shared. "We share food, talk politics, laugh, and when someone needs help, someone's always nearby. But no one's in your business unless you invite them." This setup works so well because it provides the three essential things that many seniors lose after retirement: autonomy, social contact, and a sense of contribution. You're not a patient. You're not a burden. You're part of something living, evolving, and meaningful. And better yet, many of these co-housing communities are designed to be affordable. Residents split maintenance costs. They grow their own vegetables. They hold community garage sales and even share streaming subscriptions. It's not about being frugal, it's about being resourceful and feeling safe. This model also addresses a deep, often unspoken fear among older adults: the fear of being found alone after a fall or health scare. In co-housing, It's not just about physical proximity, it's about mutual awareness. If someone's lights aren't on by 9:00, a neighbor knocks on the door not to intrude, but just to make sure everything is okay. Carl Jung believed that in our later years, the human spirit craves connection and deeper meaning, not just survival. Co-housing delivers both. It's not utopia, but it is a way to write your own story, surrounded by others who are choosing to do the same. Of course, these communities don't appear overnight. They take vision, dialogue, and patience. But more and more groups are forming, often starting with just a few like-minded friends and building outward. Cities are catching on, too. Many are easing zoning restrictions or offering grants to help get these initiatives off the ground. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment "for" below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Your support helps us continue creating thoughtful, empowering content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Trend 5: High-tech aging-in-place devices. One of the most dramatic shifts in how we age today isn't just about where we live, it's about how we live. And the truth is, technology is quietly transforming what aging looks like behind closed doors. We're not talking about hospital-grade equipment or high-tech gadgets that require an engineering degree to use. We're talking about simple, smart tools that make life easier, safer, and far more dignified. Take the new generation of voice-activated assistants, for example. These aren't just glorified radios. Seniors are using them to turn on lights, lock doors, call family, check the weather, and even get medication reminders with nothing more than their voice. Being able to take your medication with just a voice command might seem small, but for those who live alone, that kind of support brings both independence and peace of mind. Then there are fall detection sensors, no longer the awkward, bulky devices of the past. Today's smart systems learn your daily routines. So if something's off, like not walking into the kitchen by 10:00, or a sudden stop in movement, they automatically send an alert to a trusted contact. It's quiet, invisible safety. And speaking of safety, let's talk about bathrooms for a moment. Slips and falls are no joke. But now, there are smart tiles that detect standing water, light strips that activate as soon as your feet hit the floor, and even toilets with built-in sensors that monitor hydration levels, signs of infection, and more, all without requiring you to change a thing. It's like having a silent nurse in your home, only without giving up your privacy. And privacy does matter. That's why many of these devices are designed specifically with seniors in mind. There are no intrusive cameras, no invasive surveillance, just simple, respectful automation that supports rather than invades. There's a great example in Judith, age 81, who had surgery last year. Instead of recovering at a rehabilitation facility, she chose to stay home. Her son helped set up a smart monitoring system with motion sensors, medication reminders, and a two-way video doorbell. Judith later said, "I didn't feel watched. I felt supported. I could rest, heal, and stay in my space. I wasn't just a patient, I was me." Carl Jung often spoke about the importance of wholeness in our inner life as we age. And when used thoughtfully, technology allows us to preserve that inner life. It prevents us from being reduced to checklists, buzzers, and nursing charts. Of course, some people are hesitant. "I don't do gadgets," they say. But here's the truth. It's not about becoming tech-savvy. It's about choosing the right tools that quietly protect you so you can live more fully. And often, it's younger family members who are more than willing to help set them up. After all, they'd rather know you're safe than get a call from the hospital. These aging-in-place tools are already replacing the need for many types of institutional care. In the next 5 to 10 years, they'll be as common as a dishwasher. More seniors will stay in their homes not because they're being stubborn, but because their homes will evolve to support them. It's not science fiction, it's happening now. Trend 6, community co-living spaces. Not everyone wants to age in isolation, and not everyone wants to be told when to eat, what to do, or who they can see. That's why one of the most surprising and frankly most exciting trends we're seeing is the rise of senior co-living communities. These aren't traditional retirement homes. They're vibrant, self-directed households where older adults share space, responsibilities, and friendship on their own terms. Think of it like a college dorm, but with more wisdom, more privacy, and better food. The idea is simple. Instead of living alone and relying on strangers for help, you live with people your age who understand what you're going through. You split the rent. You cook together when you feel like it. You respect each other's independence, but still look out for one another in quiet ways like watering someone's plants when they're sick, or being there for coffee and conversation. What makes this model so powerful is that it's often started by seniors themselves, not developers, not corporations. People in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are teaming up to lease homes, renovate older buildings, or build tiny house villages that reflect how they want to live, not how someone else thinks they should. In Oregon, for example, 4 women in their 70s bought a large house together. Each one claimed a room. They share a kitchen and common areas, and they even rotate grocery runs. When asked if it felt strange, one of them laughed and said, "We've lived enough years to know what we don't want. We want peace, company, and control, and that's what we built." Carl Jung would have called this individuation the process of becoming more fully yourself as you age. These co-living setups are a reflection of that clarity. You're not disappearing into a crowd or vanishing behind a curtain of institutional care. You're stepping into your preferences, your rhythm, your energy. It also eases financial stress. Rent, utilities, and food are shared. And in a world where housing prices have skyrocketed and retirement income can feel thin, this kind of arrangement offers breathing room. It gives you both companionship and affordability. Of course, like any shared living situation, it requires respect, communication, and clear boundaries. But for many, that's a small price to pay. After everything you've been through, jobs, relationships, raising families, dealing with loss, a little housemate tension is nothing new. And the benefits, warmth, laughter, and feeling truly seen far outweigh the challenges. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment 6 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do so and turn on the bell to get notified about new videos. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs, inspires, and empowers. Now, let's move on to Trend 7 Wellness-Focused Retirement Villages. What if aging wasn't about decline but about reinvention? And what if your home was built entirely around that belief? That's the vision behind a growing movement of wellness-focused retirement villages that are redefining how older adults live, heal, and thrive. These aren't the Florida-style golf cart communities of decades past. These are purpose-built environments designed with intention, places where movement, nutrition, social engagement, and mind-body wellness are integrated into everyday life. and they do it with both elegance and purpose. At the heart of many of these communities, you'll find dedicated wellness centers, not just gyms, but holistic spaces offering Tai Chi in the mornings, group acupuncture in the afternoons, nutrition counseling on Thursdays, and community gardening on the weekends. These communities understand something essential: aging well isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about maintaining vitality and, where possible, even building new strength. Many of these villages are created in collaboration with gerontologists, psychologists, and even behavioral economists. They take the latest research on physical and emotional well-being and weave it directly into the infrastructure sidewalk layouts, walking path gradients, lighting design, and even the color palettes of buildings. It's subtle, but it works. Residents in these spaces tend to walk more, smile more, engage more, and, according to several studies, they spend less time in hospitals. What truly sets these wellness villages apart is how they foster a sense of purpose. Residents aren't simply passing time, they're contributing. Many serve as mentors to younger people, lead community events, or form clubs around shared passions: woodworking, storytelling, plant-based cooking, and more. There's a rhythm of participation that gives each day meaning. It feels less like retirement and more like continued relevance. This is where Carl Jung's psychology comes into play. In his later years, Jung emphasized the importance of integration, not dividing life into before and after retirement, but staying whole, connected, and curious. These villages reflect that philosophy beautifully. They don't just house you, they energize you. Of course, not every one of these places is currently affordable, but the momentum is moving in the right direction. More nonprofits, municipal partnerships, and charitable foundations are stepping in to fund lower-cost versions, particularly in areas with rapidly aging populations. The future of aging doesn't look like a ward of hospital beds. It looks like greenhouses, conversation circles, and fitness studios where instructors actually understand what a 75-year-old shoulder can and can't handle. Perhaps the biggest surprise, many of these wellness villages now have wait lists, but not because people are desperate, because they're excited. Aging doesn't have to be an ending. It can be a whole new chapter with better lighting, better walking paths, and better coffee. Now, a few final thoughts. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, chances are you've heard it before. Better start preparing for the nursing home. But today, we've seen that the future doesn't have to look like that. A new reality is emerging, one where aging doesn't mean giving up control. It means gaining new options. It means living near friends, staying active, remaining sharp, and choosing what kind of life you want to lead, on your terms. So, what stood out to you the most in today's conversation? Was it the idea of co-housing with lifelong friends? Was it the technology that protects your safety without compromising your privacy? Or maybe it was the vision of growing older in a vibrant, intergenerational village where each day feels like an opportunity, not a countdown. Here's the truth. These 7 trends aren't futuristic fantasies. They're happening right now. Slowly, steadily, the world is beginning to align with a truth many of us have always felt. Deep down, aging is not something to fear. It's something we can shape with wisdom, courage, and community. Let's be honest, most of us didn't grow up with this vision. We were taught to work hard, raise a family, and then, when that was all done, to quietly fade into a recliner. But that story is being rewritten. You don't have to settle for it. You get to decide how your next chapter unfolds. And that's the power of staying informed and open-minded. Because change doesn't always come in loud, sweeping movements. Sometimes it begins with a conversation, a new idea, a quiet shift in how we imagine what's possible. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned from this video and how you might apply it in your life. Your voice matters to us. And reading your comments provides us with the motivation and encouragement to keep going. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content designed to inform, uplift, and inspire. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.